What's up, beautiful? It's Lisa Roulette, and 2022 Ascension energies are here. Our beloved Ascension support team has delivered to us what we need to know to align with the Ascension energies available to us in order to advance along the Ascension path and continue with our awakening. If you don't already know me, I'm here to help you heal, navigate your Ascension journey, and create a life you love. Every month, and actually more frequently as of late, I channel Ascension support energies. Basically, I get information during meditation that helps us advance along the Ascension path. Sometimes these energies are very clear and very easy to understand. Other times, they're not. Like November energies, the overall 2022 energies were very challenging for me, and I want to make sure that you all understand it. So if there are any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments below. Also, if you're new here and you are navigating your spiritual awakening, you're on a healing journey, or you're learning how to manifest your life experience, you've come to the right place. So I hope you'll consider subscribing, like, comment, and share, because that helps us grow. And of course, welcome to the family. Now, 2022 Ascension energies started to come in around the 12th of December and continued to flood in during the Ascension Gateway portal. So it was a lot of information, and it took me a while to get the overall theme they were trying to convey. But the overall theme for 2022 is that resources build resilience. And now I sort of wondered, okay, well, what are we becoming resilient to? And the information they gave me was that as the new earth continues to unfold, the old earth will continue to go through its destruction. So we're not out of the woods when it comes to being witness to our social, economic, political, education, healthcare systems crumbling. There's still a lot to come. There's still a lot of transparency to discover, and there's going to be a lot of disclosures in 2022. So in the midst of all that, it can feel very uncomfortable. So they're asking us to gather our resources so that we can become resilient to the changes that are still on the horizon. Because the more we become resilient to the changes, the more we actually start to witness the new earth unfolding. If we're not resilient, then we stay stuck in this very difficult, dense, third dimensional reality, and we lose sight that this is all happening for a very, very special reason. Now, specifically, there were three types of resources that they referred to. The first was a storehouse of high vibrational frequency, which I found really interesting because it took me a while to really put a finger on that. And what they were saying was that it's time that we intentionally orchestrate high vibrational frequency to sort of ingrain it into our awareness, or entrain our awareness with frequency that won't necessarily be easy to attain or turn to in disruptive times. So essentially what they're saying is the more we practice high vibrational frequency, the more we intentionally orchestrate and sustain those frequencies, when we do reach times of disruption, and maybe for some even despair, especially as our economy makes major shifts, we want to make sure that we know how to get back to higher vibrational frequencies, that we don't get trapped in the density. Because as these systems dismantle and fall apart, there will be a lot of debris. And for those people that are directly inside of those systems, like for instance, if you still have a 9-to-5 job in one of the older industries, say healthcare or even finance, you could get trapped under the debris as these systems come down. And it's nothing to fear, but this is why they're telling us we need this storehouse of high vibrational frequency, because we don't want to get trapped under the debris. We don't want to get trapped under the density that will result from these systems dismantling and coming down. So how are you going to do that? Well, through daily practice. Gratitude is extremely powerful in orchestrating higher vibrational frequencies. Contemplating oneness is extremely powerful. Any form of meditation and ultimately healing, doing your shadow work and really healing the wounded inner child, all of that can help you to start to identify with higher vibrational frequencies. And during those practices, what you're going to do is you're going to sort of cherry pick that one high vibe and put it into a storehouse where you know exactly what that feels like, really identifying with that vibration so that you can reproduce it at will and ultimately sustain it for longer periods of time. Now, the second resource they're asking us to develop and accumulate is knowledge, but not so much third dimensional knowledge or knowledge from a traditional education system. This is knowledge that we go out and obtain because we're either interested in it or led to it. And we are encouraged to follow our interests. It doesn't matter if it's something as woo as crystals, which crystals are not woo, but for some, they might seem that way, or if it's a new form of medicine or natural healing or even traditional medicine. It doesn't matter as long as you're being very careful not to examine what you are learning through an indoctrinated belief system that is wounded, keeping in mind that all of us share the same 5 common core beliefs, and those are whether or not we feel lovable, deserving, worthy, powerful, and as if we're enough as we measure ourselves against the rest of the world. You are capable of learning absolutely anything, and you are also worthy, deserving, powerful, and lovable enough to achieve the depth of knowledge in any subject that you are interested in. And they want to encourage you to do that and to be very careful not to let those wounded beliefs tell you that you can't. Now, of course, the next thing with knowledge is not just to hold it in your awareness so that you can regurgitate it or repeat it on command, but it is to apply that knowledge as wisdom over your life. So if you're studying one of the healing arts, to practice healing techniques on yourself first, and as you become confident enough to find people who will allow you to practice for them. Same thing would go for anything like esoteric arts, crystals, pendulums, astrology, whatever you choose. Same thing, practice on yourself first, and then find people who are willing to trust you enough to practice and develop your art on them as well. Very important, very, very important, because exercising our mental capacity to not only obtain knowledge, but also to apply the knowledge as experience, which becomes the wisdom, is a very important tool to expand our consciousness. And finally, the third resource they want us to start to accumulate is a deeper embodiment of divine feminine energy, keeping in mind that we are still a very masculine energy society. Even the women on this planet are full of and lean into the masculine. And that is because the systems that we operate in, again, which include our economic, social, political, educational, healthcare, and so on systems, were largely designed with masculine energy. And so we naturally embody a lot more masculine than we do feminine. But part of the ascension path and our journey back to the one is the sacred marriage or hierogamic union between the masculine and the feminine. This is nearly impossible to achieve at this time because we are leaning so deep into the masculine. Now, a couple of ways to embody more feminine energy would be to really sink into that heart center and to start to exercise your higher sensory perception. The best way to start this practice, if you haven't already started working with one of your psychic abilities, is to practice the art of surrender and reach those very high levels of discernment to determine what you are actually experiencing on a vibrational level. The more self-aware you become, the more vibrationally aware you become, the more you can discern how much masculine energy you're embodying and thus how much more feminine energy you need to access. Now, once again, I know that was a lot. For me alone to distill that information down into the language that I've just presented to you took a very long time. So if you are lost at all, or you have questions about your own individual path as it pertains to accumulating resources and building resilience, by all means, comment below and I will do my very best to clarify anything and everything I can. Also, don't forget to visit the links in the description of the video below, where I'll put some related content along with some additional resources for you along the Ascension path. That's a wrap for this video, my friends. Remember, stay in the luminosity of your beautiful light, and as always, you are loved.